The assessment from Australian Treasurer Jim Chalmers
inflation is high and rising, and global growth is slowing.
on the state of the country's economy was grim. Specifically, the rate of inflation topping 6% is the highest seen here in 30 years.
This is not a surprising outcome, but it's a confronting outcome. It's not news to millions of Australians who feel this inflation challenge every time they go to the supermarket and every time the bills arrive.
Much of that increase is due to the conflict in Ukraine, disrupting trade and production in the region, resulting in some of the biggest increases in energy prices in decades.
There's a wide range of consumer durables, from motor vehicles down to small household appliances, where price increases are largely the result of disrupted supply chains from around the world and increased shipping costs, which is a global problem.
There are some domestic factors adding to inflation as well.
Floods and new COVID variants bring the supply chain disruptions and worker absences that we've been experiencing.
Economists also note a surge in home construction costs because in part of a 2-year strong demand for new homes fueled by government incentives and record low interest rates. The Reserve Bank of Australia has recently started raising the official interest rate, but there are concerns that it and other central banks around the world have been too slow to react.
By this time last year, in Australia and in other countries, it should have been clear that the economic contraction was briefer than had been feared, that unemployment, though it rose sharply initially, had come down more quickly to lower levels than had been forecast, and that inflation, far from falling further, had actually started to rise.
Australia's economy continues to fare better than many other countries. Inflation here is still lower than in the US and UK. Unemployment remains low, and demand for some of Australia's biggest export commodities, led by iron ore, continues to surge.
During the last 2 years, higher commodity prices have certainly boosted the Australian economy. They've helped create jobs. They've put the federal and some state budgets in stronger positions.
But that may be little comfort to Australian consumers who've been told to brace for more interest rate hikes and even higher inflation, which the government expects to peak close to 8%. Greg Navarro, CGTN, Sydney.